Tagovailoa is making more than Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels. Am I pocket watching? No. I'm putting things into perspective here. Mm-hmm. What Biggie say? More money, more problems. Well, in this case, it should be more money, more expectations. When I see Tua Tagovailoa over this year alone, I've heard him more than I ever have. That's not to say you can't talk.
Right.
I like quiet Tua, Alabama Tua, chip on the shoulder Tua. What you're being paid, what you're asked to do, what you have the capability of from one quarterback to the other, I look at a situation as like, bro, come on, dog. Especially when you got a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and other amenities that some quarterbacks wish they had.
All right, as you can no doubt surmise, that was Cam Newton talking about Tua Tagovailoa last week. We say hello to Cam Newton today. Looking good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing.
All right, I want you to think about that for a moment because Tua.
I'm trying to unpack which Cam should I, present to the people.
The realest one.
Because we like talking Cam.
Yeah.
All right.
We like Aubrey
All right.
Cam.
All
Let's
right.
get a sound
Here's
first.
what I want you
Let's
to
get
do.
a sound first.
Here's what I want you to do. Everyone's keep it in the holsters.
Yes,
I want you to hear what Tua had to say about that yesterday. Take a listen.
Well, anybody can play quarterback in this league then. I mean, I want to see anybody on the streets come and play quarterback. I mean, Cam's doing his thing for sure, but I think it's easier to be able to hold a clicker and talk about it that way, or talk about what someone else is doing wrong when you're not going out and having to do the same as them, right? So I think it's easy to do that. I think anybody can do that. I don't think anybody can play quarterback.
Floor is yours, Mr. Newton. Your thoughts.
Okay, part of me wants to admit to say anybody can go 0-3. Anybody, can really look at the optics and say, hey, dog, but did I lie, though? But this is where we have to understand, do I feel a certain type of way? Absolutely not. I've said what I said, and I'll stand on what I said. This Tua Tagovailoa that we have seen within the last 12 months is not something and someone that is indicative of what we've seen before. I use the reference as quiet Tua, Alabama Tua under Nick Saban, and everybody understands where I'm coming from. When I see the situation that has taken place in Miami, it's more Love Island drama than football. And in large part, I wouldn't say it's all on Tua, but it is a main ingredient. And I just know what he's capable of. There was times that we've seen Tua Tagovailoa play football, and it was at a high level. You don't make 53 M&Ms, or as Stephen A. say, $1 million.
No.
By just being a random on the street. Now, I don't know if he was using the references, anybody can do it with the clicker. Yes, Tua, you are absolutely right. It is extremely easy to try to do what us good constituents are doing. But the truth is, it's also easy to go over. And I want you to hear this. Tua, let it rip. And when you have a Jaden Waddle, when you have a Tyreek Hill, when you have Mike McDaniels as your coach, you have all the assets and the amenities that you have once showed that you're capable of. I don't know what this is in Miami now.
You want me to go first? Or you want to go?
I want you to go.
He's leaning back.
Hey, I feel like I'm watching the show.
Let me go.
Yes, sir.
Let me go. Props to you for the class that you've shown in your response, because I didn't think you said anything wrong about Tua. I like Tua Tagovailoa and I respect him. That might be one of the most ignorant-ass comments I've heard come out of a quarterback's mouth. What he said to you, he should have been saying to somebody like me, who's never played. He was talking about, what's the quote there? I think it's easy to be able to hold a clicker and talk about it when you're not going out and having to do the same. You played in the NFL for 11 years. Now, I was critical. Remember, there are times where I've been critical of you in terms of your accuracy throwing the football. But I didn't forget that you were a Heisman Trophy winner, and he was a Heisman Trophy finalist. I didn't forget that you won a national championship just like he did. I didn't forget that you went undefeated in winning a national championship as the quarterback at Auburn, that you were the #1 overall pick in an NFL draft where he went #5. And by the way, nobody was questioning whether or not you should be #1, but they were questioning whether or not he should be #5 because they thought it should have gone to Justin Herbert. Okay, meaning Brian Flores. I didn't forget the fact that you led the Carolina Panthers to a 15-1 record and a Super Bowl berth. I didn't forget the fact that you were an NFL League MVP, which he has never been. Why is he talking about you like you're me? Or somebody or Joe, or somebody that hasn't played the game. See, this is the kind of nonsense. And right there, and I think it's very, very important to point this out. Certain professional athletes get so caught up in their feelings that their ignorance comes oozing out. It's not always brilliance. As brilliant as so many athletes can be, sometimes because you're caught up in your feelings, you forget where to direct your ire at. You don't talk. If Tua has an issue with what you're saying, then break down and critique what you're saying as opposed to going to a fallback that's reserved for journalists and pundits and commentators. You played. You starred at that position. And he's acting like you never did this before. A clicker? He's going to bring that up when he's talking about you? That is the most asinine comment he could have come out. It shows that he's caught up in his feelings. It shows that he knows that they are sorry right now, that they're 0-3, that they're going to be every bit as bad as RC declared weeks ago that they're going to be, and that is what he is preoccupied with. You got people looking at Tua clearly because of durability, not because of his ability to play, because we know he can play. They're looking at him, and they're literally saying, you know what, once this contract is over, just go home, because they got to evolve a game plan around you not getting touched, because that's how the concerned they are about your durability and whether or not you can take the punishment that comes with an NFL quarterback. That's the situation going on in Miami, where you're asking the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, one of the elite receivers in the game, you're going to have to slow down and wait for the ball because I can't get it out there to you. This is what's going on. And he's going to come at you with that comment. I just think it was ignorant. That's how I feel, guys.
I played JV in Division III, so I take exception of you lumping me in with that situation. That was completely unnecessary. RC, jump in.
You know, you talked about Tua being in his feelings. Hell yeah, he in his feelings. They 0-3. People talking about him not having a job. There is no human who doesn't hear it.
Yeah.
Some people understand how to deal with it better. Some people know how to compartmentalize it, but we all hear it. Everybody pays attention. The problem with the Miami media, or with media in general, especially local, instead of coming up with the question to ask Tua Tagovailoa, why are you struggling so much with zone coverage? What is happening after the snap that you can't read the coverage in order to figure out in what holes, right, in between what spaces you need to throw the football? Ask him that question. Why are you concerned with what he feels about what Cam says? And as any man, unless you are man enough, unless you are secure enough in where you are in life and what you're doing, you gonna answer. But Tua ain't built like that to answer that question. He's not built in the way to talk about who Cam was as a player, because he shouldn't be concerned with that. So all he could go to is the fact that every day Cam is not living this life that I'm living right now. It's easier to talk about it there than to do what I'm doing at this point. He don't care that Cam was actually better than him. He don't care that Cam actually accomplished more than him. What he cares about is that right now I'm in this heat and you not in this heat. That's the difficult part about losing. That's the difficult part about becoming a fiasco. That's the difficult part about becoming a reality show. Because now we talk about the Miami Dolphins for everything but good play.
Yeah. Now, this is where I shifted to, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe, and I ain't trying to be, weird or anything like that, but I'm having a hard time believing that he was referring to me in reference of the clicker. All right? I just think he was talking in general.
Okay.
Right? Now, I do understand this, though. As a player, there's two different pressures. There's pressure to get paid. Contract here coming up. Man, I got to go get that money. I got to go get paid. And then there's also this pressure that we're seeing Tua faced with right now. Paid pressure. When you have paid pressure, I witnessed that similar to me in Carolina. I signed a $100 million contract. At that time, some even questioned, Cam? Y'all paid Cam that? The following year, we went to the Super Bowl. So they got a discount, if you ask me.
All right. I feel you.
So for him, it's like $53 million, bro. And I list off how many quarterbacks you're making more money than. Now you start to feel like, oh, I have to do something, and that's a pressure. Now, the thing doesn't change. And I promise you, I am still a Tua Tagovailoa fan. I think oftentimes it is hard because, as we talked about last week, and as I have issue with being in this new phase of my life, critiquing people's football play, and they take offense to it. But what me and RC know, this happens in the locker room every single day. You look at 4th and 1 and you're like, oh man, I ain't never knew Cam was so charismatic. I mean, it's so entertaining. But that's what you see on the optics of social media and on YouTube. Well, if you know RC in Pittsburgh, if you know RC in Washington, you'll start realizing like, hey bro, like, man, home's real cool. So that's what it is. So for me to see where he is now makes me feel like, hey, bro, I get where you at.
I will say this. Journalists know it too. And let me tell you why. Notice I said the word journalist. I didn't say podcasters. I didn't say people that just got a microphone and a camera and they just sitting out there talking. I said journalists. People that go into that locker room. You know why we know? Because y'all tell us. You tell us. You see what I'm saying? I joke around about First Take. Why do I know so much about football? It's because y'all teach me. Because every day, you see me, how many times off camera do I talk to y'all about sport? I don't sit up there and act like I know because I read, or I know because I walk into the locker room. You walk in that locker room, you're being educated by the combatants, and they're giving you perspectives. And that's some of the heat that he's feeling too. Because he knows there's cats in his own locker room that have those very doubts that you're pointing to, and they're saying it. And he knows it. So it's one thing for you to know and for you to feel the frustration because of paid pressure, also unpaid pressure. It's another thing entirely when you looking around and cats wearing the same uniform, in the same locker room, answering to the same people, got question marks about you too. That kind of pressure is, and y'all know that better than anybody, is real.
There's an erosion.
last word.
There's an erosion in Tua Tagovailoa. I think it's physical, I think it's emotional, and I think it's mental. And we're watching it play out before our eyes. And I don't know why it's happening, but it's happening. And I believe people in that locker room, whether they're talking to journalists or pundits or podcasters, they need to tap in with him and make sure that he's right here, because I do believe that the pressure is now getting to him.
Very nicely done. Cam, that was excellent.